Because trauma is as powerful as passion. You can have trust issues where you think everybody's gonna hurt you or betray you. Everybody's a cheater. Everyone's fake. No one can be trusted. Push and pull. I don't feel good enough. I don't feel worthy. You have the chance to break that cycle. What's going on, guys? My name is Fausto. I'm a motivational speaker, spiritual advisor, and clinical counselor. But most importantly, I'm somebody who's been through addiction, trauma, mental health, and a whole lot of codependency. And I truly believe those who hurt the most heal the most. And there's a lot of people out there that claim to be gurus, life coaches, and healers that are giving terrible advice or just ignorant from a lack of experience. And I'm somebody who's not only been through the pain, but walked through the pain the healthy way, went to school to get educated, and have been able to work with tens of thousands of people due to my mentor who's allowed thousands of people a week to come to his house. And in this video, we're going to be talking about trauma. What is trauma? What does it look like so we can self-identify if we have unhealed trauma, and then solutions to start the journey of healing. And this can be a touchy subject, but it's an important subject because trauma is as powerful as passion. Passion is where we wake up and we do what we love. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to try. It's in our heart and in our soul. Trauma unhealed is just as powerful. It will control how we act, how we feel, and the way we see the world, which hurts us and hurts others. And that's why when you hear the term generational curse or generational trauma, what that is a traumatized household does not heal, passes that trauma to their kids, and then now they have a traumatized view of the world, and if they don't heal, they pass it down to their kids. And so you have the chance to break that cycle, to break that curse, and I know that you can, because if you're watching this video, then that means that you're open to healing, and healing is possible. I'm somebody who's had sexual trauma as a kid. I grew up with a narcissistic father, so there's a lot of push and pull. I don't feel good enough. I don't feel worthy, which is why I became codependent. I'm seeking love in all the wrong places, seeking validation everywhere. I became a perfectionist, performer, always trying to win everything because I'm looking to feel good enough. And the crazy thing is as much as I don't want to be like my dad, I started dating people like my dad. I started to act like my dad in many ways. And that's why I struggled with addiction for a long time and suicidal ideations. And my life was falling apart. And I have a lifetime of being cheated on and betrayal. But it was because I was unhealed. And I started to become like an unhealed version of myself, which is why I attracted unhealed people in my life. You see? So it's just a cycle of trauma. And so I get it. In this video, I hope that it can help you become more aware of it, to give yourself compassion for it, and that you can start healing from it. So let's get started in this video. 1, what is trauma? Trauma isn't what happens to you, it's what happens in you. I'm gonna say that again. Trauma isn't what happens to you, it's what happens in you. That's why two people can go through the same thing, but one person gets traumatized and the other person doesn't. So some of us are more sensitive to what happens in the world. So it's our perception of what's going on. And so that's why we can never tell someone trauma is fake, because it's real. But it doesn't mean everybody has it, but a lot of us do. So that's what trauma is. And that's the way to understand what it is. And it changes the way that we act and we feel in the world. It's something that we need to look at because, like I said, trauma unhealed is as powerful as passion. What does trauma look like in our life? What does it look like? You can have trust issues where you think everybody's going to hurt you or betray you. So you find yourself either always trying to hold on to relationships, or you find yourself pushing them away so no one can hurt you. Maybe you find yourself being a perfectionist or a performer. You try to be smart and the best at everything you do, because if you're perfect, then no one's going to leave you. No one's going to hurt you, and you should be safe. That's another way trauma can fuel you. Maybe you have a hard time regulating your emotions. So if you ever find yourself going from like 0 to 100 when it comes to your emotions and you can't like navigate it, right? You just react. That's unhealed trauma. Because a trigger fuels a reactive action. When you're healed or you're healing, you may respond because you can pause after the trigger. But when you're not healed, there's no pause. You just react. And so triggers are reminders of trauma we haven't healed. So if you go from 0 to 100, that's another sign that trauma is affecting you. Maybe you're a people pleaser. You're the fixer. You're trying to save everybody and be something for everybody so everybody can accept you, they can like you, and they can validate you. That's another way that trauma will control your life, is that we're trying to be everything for everyone, but then we lose our identity in that because we can't be liked by everybody, because if everybody likes you, then you're not being yourself. You might find yourself in unhealthy relationships over and over and over again. And you may be thinking, everybody's a cheater. Everyone's fake. No one can be trusted. And that's not true. Saying everyone is a very strong word, but maybe everyone you've been with has been those things. And it's because we can't, when we're unhealed, we're going to attract unhealed people. An unhealed person cannot be with a healed person, because a healed person will look at the unhealed person as a red flag and walk away. Unhealed people will stay with their kind. That's why when you start healing, you start to look at relationships you used to have like, man, how was I in that? Right? You start to be seeing more clearly now. And so if you find yourself in toxic relationships or toxic situations over and over again, that's a sign there's unhealed trauma. For example, I've been cheated on more than 30 times. Not because I was with 30 different girls, but because I would stay with the same girls after being cheated on, because I was so afraid to be alone. I would rather be in a relationship of being cheated on, because at least I'm not alone. And then I would justify it in my head that maybe it's my fault they're cheating on me, just to be able to stay in it. And that's the crazy cycle of love for me. I've had friends that betrayed me, used me, slept with my girl, and I still stood their friends because, again, I would rather have friends than not have friends. When it came to jobs, I would never ask for a raise. I would take less than I deserved. I would people please at work to be liked. And then I had no idea who I was. I was a bodybuilder, a skateboarder, a drummer, a punk rocker, a videographer, a DJ, a bartender, playing all these characters just trying to be liked. It's not who I am, all of them. Some pieces maybe, but not all of them. When it came to the intimacy from being sexually abused as a kid, I had to be drunk to have sex because I was afraid of intimacy with a sober mind. And I was too afraid to admit that. And so it made sex a really complicated thing for me. And then if my partner didn't want to have sex with me, then I thought it's because there's something wrong with me and they didn't love me, because sex connected to love to me since I was sexually abused at a young age. So love and sex were connected. And when someone does have sex with me, that means that I'm not good enough. And so then I would spiral, I'd become controlling, I would snap. And that's how it affected me with my intimate life. And I would trust too easily. I did not know how to keep boundaries because I'm afraid of rejection, because rejection means I'm not good enough. So these are just some ways that my trauma has manifested in my life. I'm a very anxious attachment style, a lot of anxiety, overthinking, and I always go to worst case scenario. So that's how it manifested in my life. Now let's go on to solutions to trauma, because there is. And the first thing you got to be able to do is be aware. You have to be honest with yourself. Do you have unhealed trauma? That's the first step. Second one is inner child work. So what is that? When we get traumatized, our inner child, whatever age we're at, goes into protection mode, survival mode. And so now we have this younger version of us living within us that's still afraid of things. And so a lot of times when something reminds you of that trauma, it's your inner child that reacts to protect you. And so when we're kids, a lot of the things we do to protect ourselves is to avoid, to lie, to hide, to people please. It's okay when you're a kid. It's not really frowned upon. But as an adult, you can't keep on doing those behaviors. So we have to look back at our childhood through inner child meditation, inner child journaling, inner child conversations with a therapist, to be able to go back in time to heal what's happening so you can live freely in the present moment. And the third one is therapy. So trauma does not live in your mind. It lives in your body parts. And maybe you've heard that before. There's a good book called The Body Keeps Score. And when we get triggered, it's our body reacting first, which triggers the thoughts, which triggers the feelings, which triggers the actions. And so that's why sometimes CBT, DBT, or different talk therapies or advice people give you doesn't work. You're like, I know better, but why can't I do better? It might be because the trauma's in your body. So EMDR therapy is something I did where you basically relive the trauma to feel it in your body, to get it out of your body, and then replace it with a good memory. And by doing that, now you can use these talk therapy and these CBT, DBT skills and take people's advice and actually follow through with it and work. So that's something to look into. I mean, EMDR to me was like, for those who have ever drank alcohol, it's like liquid courage, but liquid courage where you don't have to drink alcohol and you just stay secure and confident for the rest of your life. So I would get triggered by authority figures because they remind me of my dad. I would have a hard time keeping boundaries. I would choose toxic women to be with. And it was hard for me to express my feelings. When I did EMDR therapy, I was able to not have any fear around authority figures. So I can ask for raises, stand up for myself. I was able to be single and not feel like I need to be in a relationship. When I am in a relationship, I would choose healthier relationships, set boundaries. I wasn't afraid of rejection because I knew rejection was just protection for redirection for something better. And I was free. I was free from a lot of the anxious feelings that I had. I didn't overthink as much or have anxiety as much. So EMDR, I recommend. It's like magic. And then the last one is you really got to learn to keep your boundaries because in order to heal, you got to separate yourself from the people who are hurting you. Because if you don't, then trying to do all this healing won't work because you're hanging out with the problem. So you got to learn to separate yourself from those who hurt you in order for you to heal and then bring in healthy people around you to help you heal even more. And then once those people who have hurt you, if you do want them in your life, once they start to heal one day in the future, then you can slowly allow them back into your life. And those are the ways to really work through it. Be aware you have a problem, inner child work, EMDR therapy, and then boundaries. And I promise you, you can be set free. I've been able to heal so many things in my life. Intimacy isn't scary. I'm in a healthy relationship. I have more confidence. I'm making the most money I've ever made. I was able to start a business. I'm living my best life. I have better time management, money management. I'm not afraid to be alone for long periods of time. And I don't finally need others' validation to feel good enough. And you can too. You're going to break the curse. You're going to break the generational trauma. You are strong. You are loving and you deserve healing. If you're still watching this video, it means that you really, really want it. So I hope this video is able to help you. Today, I just got back from doing a music video shoot in Rhode Island and where it was 6 degrees and windy and I had to play an attic in it, which was a blessing. It's for my buddy's music video by Gremlin on YouTube, which should be out when this video comes out. And I got sick. So if I seem sick in this video, like my eyes are closing or I sound kind of nasally or congested or I'm all over the place, it could be my ADHD, it could be because I'm sick. But I really wanted to make this video still and not overthink it. Again, that's me being honest with you guys because I want you guys to be honest with me. And so I hope that you guys got something out of this video. Please share it. Please like it. Please comment. Please subscribe to it. The more people that can see this, the more people can heal. I'm going to have more videos on trauma, breaking down different ways to heal it, breaking different ways to go about it, different versions of it. But for now, this is just to understand what it is, what it looks like, and how to start the healing process. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you guys. Let's heal together. Let's grow together. And just remember, you are a hope dealer. You are a healer. Because remember, those who hurt the most, heal the most.